According to leaks, the Sony FX5 is ready to launch and will be unveiled on July the 22nd. After waiting for 5 years for a successor to the A7S III or the FX3, the question is, why is Sony doing this? The answer is simple: they want all your money.
Where is the money? I gave it to Sony!
Jokes aside, Sony aims to give us the best video production camera, which will influence the camera development of the whole market for the next years and will be putting the competition to shame again. In exchange for that, they want all your money. Classic win-win situation. Since we're talking about Sony cameras for serious video production, I assume that you're in that field too, and I want to say that I will soon be launching a digital product for Sony Shooters, which will boost your workflow, speed up your workflow, especially in that part that everybody hates, editing. And if that sounds interesting to you, smash that subscribe button so you will be notified when it's ready for launch, and share the video with other Sony shooters in the crowd that don't get enough sunlight because they're still editing. Moving on, the Sony FX5 designation tells us it will be positioned above the FX3 in terms of features. Especially it will include many of the features we had hoped to see in a Sony FX3 Mark II. So why doesn't Sony just call it FX3 Mark II? There are several reasons for it. For starters, the body will be different from the FX3 Mark I. So it has to be, because there will be a new 16 megapixel sensor and an open gate function, which means that it will have to read out more photo sites more quickly to minimize rolling shutter effects. And this will cause more heat, which a bigger body can handle more effectively. In an interview, a Sony representative mentioned that it is impossible to include the FX6 internal electronic ND, which is a killer feature unique for this camera, which Sony shooters who have worked with it refused to work without. And we hoped we would get it in an FX3 successor. But the Sony representative mentioned in an interview that it's impossible to include this electronic ND filter into a small body like the one of the FX3. So a larger body would be necessary for that upgrade, and that gives us some hope in that direction. From a marketing psychology perspective, this is also a very smart move of Sony, because everybody is waiting for the FX3 Mark II for years now. People get angry that it's not coming, expecting more and more features, and now to release something that has a whole different name, FX5, stirs up the situation completely. It triggers new excitement for the new camera coming from Sony, and the FX5 represents something fresh, superior and mysterious. It sparks interest not just through its internal features, but also through its tangible physical presence. When we anticipate a new body, we scrutinize every square centimeter and pore over the leaked photos. This creates a stronger emotional connection to the camera and triggers that childlike urge to touch it, to feel how it sits in the hand and how the controls operate if it fits your workflow. Finally, although the FX3 is 5 years old now and lacks some features of the competition, it is still selling incredibly well. It is popping up everywhere and behind the scenes footage of video creators. You can see that there are some video producers who film high budget commercials for clients and own a red camera, but most of the time bring the FX3 to set because it's a superior workflow, handling faster, smaller, and still outputting amazing image quality. And of course, the Hollywood science fiction blockbuster The Creator, which was shot almost entirely on FX3, turned the camera into a legend. Sony would be foolish not to keep selling the FX3 at a good price point who people who want it but haven't bought it yet perhaps because they are waiting for a successor. It makes sense to position the FX5 with its more modern features to cater to those who want and can afford it. Meanwhile, for those who don't feel that the new capability of the FX5 justify the cost, there is still a cheaper FX3 that they can buy instead of going to the competition, and making it possible to, if they are satisfied, to upgrade later if they want to a pricey FX5. I think that sums up the strategy quite well. Just a quick word on the leaks and the new features. They've been trickling out over the last few days via Sony Alpha Rumors and Andrea Pizzini on YouTube. He has reliable sources. After all, the announcement of the Sony RX10 version 5. After all, the announcement of the Sony RX10 Mark V happened exactly as he predicted. This means that the features of the FX5 are practically a sure thing. The only remaining questions concerns details like IBIS and the electronic ND. The sources haven't commented yet on IBIS or ND. I suspect this whole leaking game is actually a marketing strategy orchestrated by Sony. Instead of simply dropping everything on the public at an official event, price tag and all, they tease details bit by bit to build anticipation, making the eventual price easier to swallow. First, certain features are held back, so the official event doesn't just rehash what's already known, but you can still put out an ace out of its sleeve. On the flip side, if you haven't heard rumors about the feature you were hoping for, you can mentally prepare yourself for the possibility that it won't be included, and if it turns out it is, all the better. One feature that would be a reason for me to buy the FX5, which they now included in the Sony a7 IV, in the photo part, is pre-roll, so you can press the button and then it begins to save what happens to a cache, and only when the real action happens, the interesting stuff happens, you press fully and that is recorded to the card. And that means that you save a lot of disk space, you save a lot of time later going through all your footage. And this is a workflow feature instead of an image quality feature, and that's much more important to me. If you agree with me that workflow is more important maybe in some cases than image quality, I hope you show some love to the subscribe button so that you will be notified when my workflow booster will be released. So I hope we see after July the 22nd here back on this channel. Till then, keep your spirits up. Bye.